is a step forward for her. Okay, she gets her first fortune by, yeah, by locking a guy to suffocate to death in his own safe and then robs him. Right? And then after that, she makes a deal with these slavers to trade in her dragon and then fucks them over. Don't get me wrong, they were terrible people, but we did make a deal. And she just completely shits on the deal and then burns them alive and then gets a whole army. Pretty sweet. And then she gets an even bigger army when she kills all the Khals. And the Khals were living according to their tradition. This is their way of life. And she burns them alive for it. All through this, she is dealing extremely violently, almost creatively violently, with everyone that dares cross her. Now, I understand Emilia Clarke is adorable. All right. It's hard to believe that she would do any wrong, but you got to get over that. You got to get over that. All right. And after that, let's be honest, like when she was listening to other people, she was also taught that she would fail. Every time she listened to Tyrion or Jon Snow or Barristan Selmy, she would start losing every single time. When she went in hard, she would win. I mean, let's be honest. She would kill anyone that stood in her way. And from the point where now, a lot of people, this is where they start to lose it a little bit. But what ends up happening is she goes to King's Landing with a massive armada, with a huge army behind her, and she starts listening to Tyrion and she starts losing. This is everything she's wanted her entire life at her fingertips. And it's slipping away because she's listening to other people instead of being hard the way she should. And she knows that, and then she risks everything to save everyone in, well, obviously in the North, but basically save the world. She risks something that she has wanted her entire life in order to save the world. Now, I have to be honest, that's kind of a hero, like it really is. Like that's a hero. And by that point, I started to change gears on her a little bit, I have to be honest, because then I started to notice like they were setting up why she was going to turn. They set it up perfectly clearly, like the sass she was getting from Sansa, that's what she was getting. And then the twist with, I already gave the spoiler alert, so the twist with Jon's backstory. Why did they want to overthrow her with Jon at that point in the story? She'd done nothing but listen to them. She hadn't gone crazy by that point, don't forget. And one of the big rebuttals is, why did she, after the bells rung, why did she have to kill all the people in King's Landing? Because these people were betraying her for no reason. She hadn't done anything. She'd done nothing but listen to Varys and listen to Tyrion, and they wanted to throw her under the bus anyway. And then the other things that happened, her dragon got killed. Just don't talk about the setup. It was kind of funny the way that she didn't see this armada, but whatever. Her dragon got killed. Her best friend gets killed, and you know what? She's fucking done. We're done. We're done talking here. Okay. Now, Game of Thrones. I mean, it's the thing about Game of Thrones is it's essentially it's basically classic fantasy tropes if you're going to be honest about what Europeans were like. They were violent, they weren't noble elves, they weren't hardworking, pure-hearted country folk and singing dwarves and dancing forest creatures. They were violent, unwashed, illiterate, traitorous, and arguably cruel beyond any fucking measure. Just look up what a blood eagle is. Like, just when you have a minute, just look up what a blood eagle is. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So in a
ah,
world like that, okay, in a world like that, how do you rule? How do you bring these people together? like, because you see that no matter what you do, you are going to be betrayed. So you have to be colder and more calculating than Tywin Lannister, who was still killed by his son. You have to be
On
harder.
the shitter.
Yeah, on the shitter. You have to be harder than Robert Baratheon, who was also betrayed and killed. And plus, who are the heroes in this show? You know what I mean? I mean, first of all, Ned Stark at the very beginning of the show kills a kid who was right, by the way. All right, like that kid was right. Okay, Jon Snow, he executed a child that crossed him. Sansa let Ramsay get eaten by dogs. Arya killed
Wow.
all of the Freys, chopping one up and baking it into a pie. Okay, and these are the good guys. And don't forget Bran, the boy in the wheelchair. He like went back in time, mind hacked this poor simpleton, took his whole fucking life away, and just tried to, just so he can hold the door open in the future. All right, like that is fucked
Oh,
up. All right, so if these are the good guys and these are the rules of the world, you have to be that hard. And after a life of, vicious treatment, ingratitude, betrayal, she had no choice. And a lot of people they like to rebut with, foreshadowing isn't character building. It wasn't foreshadowing. She told you straight out, I will burn you if you don't bend the knee. So, on that note, going out, I am going to quote Lady Olenna when she says to Daenerys, he's a clever man, your hand. I've known a great many of clever men. I've outlived them all. You know why? I ignored them. The lords of Westeros are sheep. Are you a sheep? No. You're a dragon. Be a dragon.
well, I can't even, that was definitely the main event for sure. Greg brought it home clear with Daenerys, without a doubt.
And I'm saying that now she's a great character.
I thought so now. I thought so then, to be honest. I overall wasn't as disappointed with the ending as most people were.
Neither was I.
I had my moments. I had my bones to pick. We could parse that out. That'll be an entirely another episode. But the people who were shocked that she attacked like she did and did what she did, because I'm with you. I hate to, I know that at least right now I'm not going to do the 3 club steak right now. And you're right, a blood eagle is a fucking nasty, nasty thing.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
You go to Blood Eagle. I go to the pair.
You?
I go to the pair of. Oh God, what is it? It's like the pair of suffering or something like that. It was or despair. It was this.
Yeah.
It was this device that you could insert in the mouth or rectum or anything, and it started off small and you started twisting it and it just expands and expands and expands so you could like break a dude's jaw or shove it up his ass or whatever. This was like, this was the height of European thinking right there.
Yeah, that's the thing with European tortures. To me, it's always been like less of what they did and more like, how did you get to that?
But you arrived there and you gotta, I mean, there's a little bit of like, no, but very creative. It's just
like I feel like there's a much more gruesome history behind these torture tactics. Like how, like there's a maturation
prototypes.
That we don't want to know about. Like the Blood Eagle is the best example of what they had. Like,
oh no, you should have seen the other 6 that I tried. That was
just
really
nasty. Just this one.
But going back to Greg's point about like foreshadowing, it wasn't foreshadowing. They fucking showed you in a vision what she was going to do to King's Landing, right? We all thought it was snow in King's Landing. No, it was ashes, right? They literally showed the shot and then they show her walking into the throne room and showing it to you. So those writers and those shows had that arc in mind. I know the author himself never got it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I also would argue that if you're going to look at it from people in the Game of Thrones universe point of view, not everyone believed in magic. So just because someone saw a vision didn't mean that everyone was going to be like, yeah, it's totally going to happen. Like we believe it because we see it all from a bird's eye view.
We as the viewer, yes.
I I think I don't want to speak for you, Josh, but there's quite literally nothing to add to the main event. That was about as wrapped up and buttoned up as you can get. I would just point out I fell out of love with Daenerys after she started chasing Dick hardcore. That's when I'm like, I can't with you anymore. And I was proven right by the last season, because I argue her character took a turn for the worse in a very similar way what Greg just said, but I'm gonna call it in a different direction. Where like literally every fucking dude just showed up and told her what to do. She's like, oh, okay. Oh, all right, yeah. Like, come on now. Like, how are you gonna be the mother of dragon and literally every fucking dude just walking around, just basically verbally bitch slapping you to do whatever the fuck you want, or they're just tossing out the dick and you're like, yeah, all right, cool, this is a good plan. Like, come on now. Like, what the fuck happened to you? You literally, I was with her all the way up until like how many seasons were there? 7 or so?
6 or 7, yeah, something like that. You know.
Basically, the first like 4, I was with her. Because like to me, it's not so much do right or do wrong in that series. There's no such thing. I think Greg made laid out good reason for it. There's no good or right or wrong in the whole series. It was just literally what side you're rooting for and what side they're on. But for her, I was down with like everything she did. It's like, all right, cool. Yeah, you want to fucking burn up places, slavers and all that shit? I don't give a shit. Yeah, cool. Right? People that want to bend the knee, they fucking kill them. Yeah, like I remember reading boards of people being upset about those 2 guys, the dad and son. I forgot who the fuck they were. Like literally, like they're real people, and Dragon really burnt them. Like people are really taking it personally. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are we watching the same goddamn show? She's going for royalty. She wants to take over. These assholes run a big ass fiefdom. They didn't want to bend the knee. That's how it goes. Like, what the fuck?
And so, I love the metaphor because there's a couple that Martin stays true to, and that's one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like evil people need you to love them.
Yes.
You know, and that's the thing. Like she gains a lot of love, and it's that love that everyone feels betrayed. But I feel like another reason that the 3 of us get this is because we enjoy history, and so we've seen this show before.
Right.
We've seen and then everyone's like, holy shit, Crystal knocked. Who have I been supporting all of this time? Jesus Christ. And a lot of people, they kind of brush off that irony, like, oh, very clever. But at the same time, didn't it just happen?
Well, I would say like with Daenerys, my problem was when she started chasing Dick, she completely just like,
yeah, agreed.
It was just horrible in that sense. But then the other thing that like killed me is like, I didn't give a shit about at the end when she burned up King's Landing. Like, are you guys fucking kidding me? It's a goddamn war. Like, enough with this whole like, but the innocent people, like, are you, again, fuck you. It's a goddamn TV show and it's a war and they've killed plenty of people. And the people in King's Landing have killed plenty of people. Like, I don't give a shit about any of them. Burn them all up. Fuck you. Like,
I just watched the Vice segment on Yemen. Show me a war that innocent people
aren't getting killed. I know the United States don't want to fucking start pulling out a counter of civilians that get killed in our heroic conflicts. But I would say
not so much.
I would only push back in one little thing, and like I don't think every evil villain or bad guy or whatever needs actually to be loved. I disagree. In the old series, you have an example because Cersei didn't give a fuck. Actually, that's the reason why Cersei became my favorite character. The only person she actually cared about to a point was Jaime. But she actually proved at the end of the whole series, she didn't give a fuck about anybody. And that's the reason
I use that for in real world examples. Like Mussolini, arguably Castro, definitely Hitler. Like that love they needed from the masses. They cultivated that. Like that wasn't an accident. That didn't just come from, don't get me wrong, they were anti-Semitic as fuck, but he knew what these people wanted and needed to hear, and he gave them that.
That's like saying people in North Korea love the Kim Jong or Kim, whatever the fuck the guy is.
They do.
Fear can cultivate love in a historical view.
No, they love him.
When you're in the
No.